so kind. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Good to see you. You look nice.
Thank you. The multicultural thing went really well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How are things going?
It's going very well. I am so good.
Are you really?
Well, what I mean, you can't go much. You can't go out that much.
How are your kids doing?
They're frustrated as well, because they're in school. So
Right.
that's the only thing.
They've been doing the online stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can't go to see their friends and stuff.
Exactly. Here comes Ed with the Yes, exactly. It's all. But you know what? I think it's about to change. I think we're about to. Hey, Ed.
How you guys doing? Oh, man.
I figured it was like a butt call because it rang like twice and.
Oh yeah, I meant to call the other Denise, and then when I
It
realized
always happens.
when I realized who was calling, I was like, oh no, let me call it.
It always happens. Every day I was supposed to call the other Denise. Okay.
Pretty good. How you doing? Well, you guys have community courthouse tonight.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. 6 o'clock, right?
6 o'clock. So I'm gonna try to join for.
But the debate is tonight, too.
Oh yes, that's.
Yeah, the
How are we
debate.
gonna...
You guys better make it quick.
But we should be out in time because the debate doesn't start till 9 o'clock, right?
I think that's right. I know the debate is later.
Yeah, 9 o'clock prime time, yes.
9 o'clock, and then
This thing should be over by 8, hopefully.
Yeah, you gotta make sure they get out.
I know. No, if they don't, I would just log out.
Right, exactly.
This is the key election.
Right, exactly.
But I don't know if you saw the Washington Post article today.
What's her little things at the bottom here? That's not going to show up
No.
anything.
Washington Post article today. Pennsylvania.
Oh, good.
Michigan
And in Michigan?
Yeah. Well, Michigan is huge.
Yeah, it is.
It's a Democrat.
He's leading in Michigan?
Yeah. And Wisconsin as well.
Oh, Wisconsin's huge too.
So today, we got it.
That's good.
I don't want to feel too energized.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to Mr. Clinton. That is so unique. So different.
Yeah.
Because I just want to wait.
We can't do another four of this.
No, this is bad. I've never seen this in America. I've been here for 30-something years. I've never seen a system.
Yeah.
Him coming from New York, I would not believe he would be.
Yeah. And he is really inspired a whole another group. What's up, brother? What's up, Frank?
My mom kept asking, what is wrong with you people? I said, what do you mean?
No, I'm not here.
Good afternoon. Today, a Prince George's County grand jury returned an indictment against Officer Tristan Thigpen on sex assault against a minor. Attorneys Musa Eubanks and John Grachowski will be prosecuting this case. John will go into the specifics of the charges.
Again, it's Grachowski. Sure. First defendant's name is Tristan. Last name is Thigpen. So the indictment was for 4 charges. He was indicted for sex abuse of a minor, 3rd-degree sex offense, 2nd-degree assault, and 4th-degree sex offense. Are there any questions regarding the charges?
What was the relationship? Was this a domestic in-house? What can you tell us about it?
Sure. So we're not going to go too deep into the facts of the case. We can say that you'll see in the indictment that it was a household member who was the victim.
I'm sorry, can you do the charges one more time, please?
Sure. Count 1 was sex abuse of a minor. Count 2 was 3rd-degree sex offense. count 3 was assault in the second degree, and count 4 was fourth degree sex offense.
And did this abuse allegedly happen over some period of time?
Again, we're not going to go too much into the details, but we can say that all these charges relate to one incident.
And he was not on
Again, we're not going to go into too many of the details, but I can talk about the charges and what the elements are and things of that nature. If there's any questions specific to what...
The age of the victim?
We're not going to go into that right now either.
Okay. Say if she's a teenager or a young child, or give us just a generalization of...
It was a minor.
It was a minor. Yeah.
And you said that this is connected to one incident.
Correct.
Ms. Braveboy, can you talk to us about how serious are these kinds of cases? How serious are these kinds of cases, and what's the message?
Well, these cases are very serious. Any case involving sex abuse of a child is serious. When the allegations are made against an officer, it's particularly egregious. It's very concerning to our office. That is why when I came into office, I created a public integrity unit. Musa Eubanks is one of the attorneys in that unit who will be handling this case. Because this case involves allegations of sex abuse, our Special Victims and Family Violence Unit is also working on that case. That's why you see John Grachowski here. But we take these cases very seriously. We will prosecute this one zealously.
Is there any indication that he did anything actually connected with these roles?
At this time, we can't get into those details. But again, as Mr. Grachowski mentioned, that this particular case is related to one incident.
How did this come to your attention?
It came to our attention. We can't really go into that, unfortunately, but we did get this through various law enforcement agencies.
What community did this take place in?
Community? This happened in the Clinton area.
You said it came to your attention through various law enforcement agencies?
That's correct.
So is this the kind of deal where there were pictures found or something on a computer?
Again, we can't go into those details at this time.
Okay. Can you tell us who the lead investigative agency was in this?
I can't, well... Unfortunately, because of how this case developed, unfortunately, we really can't go into detail on that. I would just say that there's more than one agency involved.
Can you run down, I'm sorry to make you do this again, run down the count one more time?
Would you like to run down the
Sure,
counts?
absolutely. So count 1 is sex abuse of a minor. Count 2 is third degree sex offense. Count 3 is assault in the second degree. And count 4 is fourth degree sex offense. The top 2 counts are felonies.
What are the potential penalties?
So count 1 holds a maximum sentence of 25 years with a lifetime sex offender registration. Count 2 holds a maximum of 10 years with a 25-year sex offender registration. Count 3, assault in the second degree, has a 10-year maximum sentence. And count 4, fourth degree sex offense, has a 1-year maximum penalty and a 15-year sex offender registration.
He's looking at the possibility of 46.
He's not. It's actually because the way the charges are, counts 3 and 4 would actually be rolled into count 2. However, count 1 and count 2 would not be rolled together. So if he was found guilty of all, he could only be sentenced if they stacked 1 and 2. So it would be 35 years maximum penalty.
What is the officer's current standing in the department?
So we did make the Prince George's County Police Department aware of the indictment. So their usual protocol is to suspend the officer pending the results of the trial. So I assume that they'll be doing that in this case, but you can certainly contact them. I don't know what their protocol is once an officer is indicted. think of officers in charge, they're on one status, and then if they're indicted, I'm not sure what they would do in those cases, but you can certainly contact them.
Are there any concerns for any potential more victims out there that might affect?
We don't know if there are other victims, but certainly through the reporting on this case, if there are other victims, we certainly encourage them to come forward. We will investigate their cases, and we will take the appropriate action. But again, my message to the community is there's only one set of laws, and it applies to both civilians and officers. And when officers violate laws, my job, my duty, my role is to hold them accountable. And we're doing that in this case as we've done in other cases. And we will continue to hold everyone in our county accountable for their actions.
Any history of behavioral issues with this officer that you know of?
I can't go into that at this time.
At what point was the department informed about these charges?
They are aware. They were aware of the charges. They are one of the agencies that participated in the investigation.
And how long, can you tell us how long this investigation has been going on? A long time, right?
It's been going on for a little.
I believe it began in July.
Yeah, it began earlier this year.
And how soon was it when you guys found out about the allegation that you started your investigation?
Oh, as soon as we found out about it, we started it immediately. And that's what we do in these types of cases. As soon as we hear about an allegation, our public integrity unit begins the investigation, and we'll pull in another unit if it's their specialty, like special victims and family violence. We pull them into this case.
Does Officer Thigpen, did he continue on the street for some period of time while you were investigating these allegations?
That's a better question for the Prince George's County Police Department.
I'd like to change the subject a bit.
Sure.
With the settlement that happened in the lawsuit yesterday, can you speak just a little bit from your office's perspective, how that could impact the case going forward as well as go to prosecutors?
Sure. Well, that was a resolution in the civil case. That was a civil matter. Our office is prosecuting the criminal case. And so the resolution of the civil case does not impact our criminal case.
I would imagine that it's going to play a part in the trial. Can you speak to that? Or will it not?
From our perspective, that was a settlement between parties that did not involve the defendant. So our criminal case involves the defendant as well. Obviously, we'll have multiple witnesses. So I would say that I don't know what role it would play. I would say very little at this time.
The county executive was speaking yesterday about transparency and the idea that it being as transparent as possible with the public about that settlement was important to her. There have been protests and questions about what's going on with the ongoing police lawsuit that's been filed against
Sure.
you. What is your take on that ongoing suit?
My take on it is, and as you know, I stood here a few months ago and said, look, our office, the state's attorney's office, needs to have access to internal affairs records. We need to be able to evaluate officers because we're trying cases brought to us by those officers. So when we do have cases now, we've really changed our protocol. We're asking for internal affairs files for officers in cases where they're serving as witnesses so that we understand what background they have. We turn over any discoverable information to the defense counsel. It is our role, it is our responsibility, but we need greater access. I've constantly said that, and those demands will continue because I think it is in the best interest of the public that we be as transparent as possible, that the state's attorney's office has a very a sacred and very important role in this community, again, to hold everyone accountable and to bring forth cases that we can stand behind and have witnesses who are testifying on behalf of the state who we can stand behind. And so it's really important to us that we have full access. We're getting greater access, but we will continue to demand full access.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are not making a
Say it again.
You're not making a photo of him being available, are you?
At some point, I'm sure it will be through the Department of Corrections. So I think Denise can put you in contact with those individuals. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.